Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Morgan Wrigley. We start right now at noon with some breaking news. Dr. Brian Hyatt and others at the Behavioral Health Unit at Northwest Medical Center in Springdale are now being investigated by the FBI. The FBI wants to know whether Hyatt and others unlawfully held some patients against their will between January 2018 and June of 2022. Hyatt, who was once the head of the Arkansas State Medical Board, was also the director of the Behavioral Health Unit at Northwest Medical Center. He was arrested in 2023 for 2 counts of Medicaid fraud. He pleaded not guilty to those charges. Just at the beginning of this month, a jury trial was delayed for the Medicaid fraud charges. We were told that time is needed to determine if Hyatt is fit for trial. Since his initial arrest in 2023, he's been arrested 2 more times on charges involving alcohol. Also, we know this summer Hyatt was involuntarily committed to a treatment center.
Well, as you head out the door this afternoon, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a toasty one out there like it has been, well, really for the past few days, ever since Monday. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 80s, but that feels like it's more like the upper 80s and low 90s, especially down near Poto and Waldron, where it's currently 90 degrees there. In terms of what's going on satellite and radar, we're seeing, again, it's just like, you know, the routine nowadays. You hit about the noon hour, start to see those clouds puffer up, and you're noticing a couple of stray showers just off to our east. We notice that line of cloud cover popping up, and we'll continue to see that chance of more of those spotty storms really over the next 6 or 7 hours or so. Greatest in coverage will be anywhere from about, I think, 3-4 o'clock to about 7, and then shortly after that we'll see it taper off. So we'll have again that chance of maybe those pop-up storms being a little bit on the stronger side, but widespread severe weather we're not expecting. Otherwise, high temperatures will be in the low to mid 90s later this afternoon, and seeing that storm chance quickly taper off after sunset. And beyond the heat, it is going to remain muggy throughout the week because we're going to see more rain chances here not only today but tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night into early Friday. Let's talk more about the specifics of those rain timings and how much we're expecting coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. Well, prosecutors laid out some key evidence in the case against Tyler Robinson. He's accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Robinson made his first court appearance virtually from jail on Tuesday. Carter Evans has the latest.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Those were the only words spoken by Charlie Kirk's alleged killer in a virtual court appearance Wednesday.
I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk.
Earlier, Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray announced the suspect's charges include aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering.
After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police.
Prosecutors say after the shooting, the suspect texted his roommate, who was also his romantic partner, to look under his keyboard for a note that read, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
Roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry."
Prosecutors say the roommate provided those texts, and in subsequent messages, they claim, when asked why he shot Kirk, the suspect replied, quote, "I had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." Later, writing that he planned the assassination for over a week. Prosecutors also say the suspect appeared to be concerned over hiding the alleged murder weapon, which he called Grandpa's rifle, allegedly texting his roommate,
"I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man?" Robinson again, "Delete this exchange."
It was the suspect's father, prosecutors say, who called his son after the FBI released surveillance images of the alleged gunman. They also claim his parents ultimately talked him out of taking his own life and into meeting at their home before turning himself in.
Did your investigation uncover any individuals that may have known about this shooting in advance?
They are still looking into it. It's an undergoing investigation.
So is that a possibility?
They haven't ruled that out.
The county attorney emphasized that while his team has outlined the allegations, the suspect is still considered innocent until proven guilty. His next hearing is scheduled for September 29th, and the judge said he'll be given a court-appointed lawyer. Carter Evans, CBS News, Spanish Fork, Utah.
An Arkansas law professor is facing criticism from state leaders over her comments following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Lieutenant Governor Leslie Rutledge, and Attorney General Tim Griffin are now calling for UA Little Rock to take action. In a post on X, the AG tagged the law school, saying, quote, "There can be no consideration of someone of such evident low character continuing to instruct future lawyers here in Arkansas." He acknowledged the importance of academic freedom, but said it doesn't require employers to tolerate someone celebrating political assassination. Lieutenant Governor Leslie Rutledge also weighed in, saying she was stunned by the comments, believes they're inappropriate for a public employee.
This sort of extreme violence that we have seen taken over our country, and again, whether it was Charlie Kirk's assassination, the death of the Speaker of the House in Minnesota, I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. This sort of violence based on political, ideological differences must stop.
Our sister station THV11 reached out to the professor named in the statements, but did not hear back. We'll continue to follow this story for any new developments. Well, if you are feeling under the weather today, you're not alone. Illnesses have been on the rise across the area and in our schools. At Fayetteville Public Schools, the Director of Health Services says there's not just one sickness they're seeing the most so far this school year. Kids and staff are missing class for strep, stomach viruses, the flu, and COVID. She says it may seem obvious, but there's one best practice to avoid getting sick this time of year.
Every time we gather students together at the beginning of school and staff together, we see an increase in illness. So we always like to remind our staff and our families the importance of hand washing. It sounds very basic, but that is the best line of defense that anybody can do, is continue washing their hands.
Right now, the CDC says COVID activity is running high in Arkansas wastewater, with 8 sites across the state showing elevated levels in just the past week. However, the last time it was this high was this same time of year last year. Well, some of the top female golfers in the world are getting ready to tee off right here in Northwest Arkansas, and several former Razorbacks are among them. The Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship Week is officially underway. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi shows us how the tournament gives fans a chance to cheer on their hometown favorites, Razorback style.
From the Bite experience featuring more than 60 local restaurants to community events like a bike ride to the course and yoga classes, the tournament is packed with family-friendly activities beyond the green. Tournament director Rachel Reese says you don't have to be a die-hard golf fan to enjoy everything this event has to offer. She says there are more than 40 events throughout the week leading up to the tournament. Daily tickets are just $10 and concessions are priced at $3 or less, making it an affordable weekend outing for families. Reese says a lot has changed since the tournament began back in 2007.
The event started back in 2007, and it was an LPGA Tour golf tournament. And over the last 19 years, it's grown into so much more than golf. We want it to be a week-long community celebration. And really, while golf is at the core, it's more of an opportunity to bring the community together with all these events and activities to enjoy.
Reese says it takes over 750 volunteers to help make the event a success every year. Also, through the tournament, organizers are giving back to Northwest Arkansas in big ways, from supporting local charities through concession sales to hosting school field trips and hospital visits. It's a community-wide effort, Reese says, that benefits dozens of deserving organizations across the region. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Thanks, Jacob. Well, the fired former head of the CDC appeared on Capitol Hill this morning, where she had a warning for lawmakers. Former Director Susan Menares, who was fired less than a month after her Senate confirmation, raised a red flag over what could happen to America's kids if the vaccine advisory panel that Health and Human Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. recently overhauled proceeds with its scheduled meeting tomorrow. Menares also says she believes she was fired because she would not commit in advance to approving the recommendations from the vaccine advisory panel. It would not dismiss career scientists without cause. This month, Health and Human Secretary Robert Kennedy denied pressuring Menares to pre-approve vaccine recommendations, saying she was fired because she was not trustworthy. Well, President Trump is in the UK for his unprecedented second state visit, starting with a royal welcome at Windsor Castle. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
A royal charm offensive as President Trump and the First Lady arrived at Windsor Castle, joining King Charles and Queen Camilla for a carriage procession. The pomp and pageantry included 1,300 members of the British military, 120 horses, and royal bands. This trip is an unprecedented second state visit, but it's also about business. This week, the U.S. and U.K. announced a new technology partnership with joint efforts that focus on nuclear energy and artificial intelligence. U.S. tech giants, including Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Google, have pledged more than $40 billion in investments.
Tremendous opportunity in economic growth, in social services, advancing science, you name it. And that special U.S.-UK technology relationship is not something to be taken lightly.
But not everyone in the UK is embracing the relationship. Demonstrators gathered outside Windsor Castle ahead of the president's arrival.
Trump doesn't represent Britain, doesn't represent our values, and we don't agree with all the horror that he's caused to many lives.
Tuesday, 4 people were arrested after an old picture of Trump and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was projected on the royal residence. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.